Flashman is a very standard stage. More execution than, you know, fancy zips and stuff. And Fatso through the first screen, past the walker. That's another shooty. And the tin cans. There are so many walkers on the stage. And the donkey for, like, you know, 1/4 of your health. But you can avoid most of them pretty easily, so. And we are coming up to Flashman. Let's see how they deal with him. Orsa gets a no time stop kill on Flashman. Very good. Pretty good there, actually. Getting item 3 and headed straight to Heatman after this, I'm sure. The first thing coming up will be an item 3 jump. We'll see if they'll go for it and get it. Orsa misses. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing, Paranoia?
I'm doing fine. How are you tonight?
Yeah, not too bad. So yeah, solo commentary's rough. I'm gonna try to help out. So
I know.
Looks like we have a heck of a race going on here, huh?
Oh yeah, we do.
So yeah, both hit the item 3 zip, and they're hitting the Yoku blocks at pretty much exactly the same time.
They're kind of a mirror image of each other.
Yeah, we saw Orsa get here slightly faster. It looks like Fatso's taking the blocks just a bit faster. He actually passed... okay. Basically tied him with the blocks. They're going to do different strats here. So Fatso opting to go with Flash, which is just slightly slower, but it allows you to go under the Stomper, and you save a little bit more health for the Heatman fight. So if you're planning on doing the buffer jumps, which is a faster version of the fight, it'll give you the opportunity to be a little bit more bold. So we see Fatso having to do the extra menu. Orsa actually gets the first hit in on Heatman. We see Orsa giving Heatman a little bit of space there. What that does...
And Fatso's dancing with Heatman over there.
Yeah, sure is. What that's doing for Fatso is it's causing Heatman to charge at him for a shorter amount of time. So he's able to hit him again sooner. And you can see the difference it makes in the fight.
Fatso just going at a slightly faster clip here.
Yep.
Yeah, Heatman's dead.
Yeah, very nice. Kind of a scary boss. Heatman does 10 contact damage, and if you're like Orsa coming into the fight with less than 20 health, 2 hits kills you. So you can really only afford to bonk him once. Fatso gets the benefit of an extra hit there with the flash strat that he used. All right, so next we go to Air. Fun stage.
Oh, Airman stage.
So this first screen's pretty scary in a race setting. They're both going to be using item 1 to try to cross the big open air section in the first screen here. If you die, you're going to be out of flash and not have enough item 1 to do the strat again. So a lot of people will then have to take a game over afterwards. So we'll see. Hopefully both of them are able to get through.
No, normally you're expected to kill these things and use their little plow platforms to cross. That's slow, though.
Yep. We can't go slow. This is a speed run. So Fatso does it perfectly. He even manages to avoid the damage from the last cloud guy. So does Orsa. So very good. Orsa does fail the bird manipulation, though. So let's see if he knows the backup. No. So his health is going to be a little low. Right now he's at 10 health. Ooh, that's actually really bad. So now he's at 8. He can only take 1 hit from Airman, so he's going to be hoping for a health drop somewhere in this screen. Whereas Fatso can tank up to 3 hits from Airman, which should allow him to deal with any pattern the Airman can give.
Or so, meanwhile, is hoping Airman's kind, which, to be fair, he normally isn't.
Yeah, he needs him to be really kind if he can only take 1 hit, and he didn't get a drop. So, oh no. So yeah, at least make the boss door. Okay. That way he doesn't have to respawn at the checkpoint. So he's probably going to take a death to Airman. I don't want to count Orsa out before this fight has happened, but damageless Airman fight is going to require some luck, and that's not the luck he needs.
No, so, that's just your dad luck.
Yeah, fortunately, that's a pretty quick death. For the deaths you can take in this game, that one's not so bad. But you know, that's what happens when you take a little bit too much damage in the stage. And oddly enough, well, I guess he would have gotten hit on the 3rd one, but he got 2 dodgeable patterns to start that fight.
Yeah,
so he's probably wondering where that was the last time, but. Okay, well, both through air. Now we go on to Clashman stage.
And Clashman's interesting because it's our first major zip of the game.
Yeah, this is we saw like kind of a smaller, more simple one in Heatman, but this one is a little bit more complex. I believe they're both going to do this second screen zip. You can do a first screen one that's a little bit faster. The second one is easier, more consistent.
And now, can you tell us what's going on here?
Maybe, sort of. Basically, they're zipping around the screen. They're actually walking through screens that are not being displayed visibly. So they're actually going ahead in the stage and then taking a death in the checkpoint, and it respawns them there. It saves quite a bit of time from doing the stage normally. And Fatso does it quite well. Orsa's going to be trying to set up the same zip here.
Anyway, commentary's asking who you are.
Oh, hi. I'm Facet CC.
And we get to my favorite section of the game. These birds.
You like the birds, huh?
Yes!
I don't detect a note of sarcasm in there.
I have nothing but love for these birds.
So we see them using the item 3, which clings to the walls there. They try to place it in such a specific way that they can land straight on it and jump, as you see Orsa do successfully there. Fatso had trouble with a couple of the placements there. It's actually really precise to be able to drop it and land on it at the same time. Orsa is using kind of a hybrid strat here, which is really consistent. Definitely
now,
a strat
Fatso has arrived at Crashman, or Clashman, depending on your version. And yeah, I barely had time to get that sentence out.
Yeah, some bosses take a lot of damage from their primary weakness here. Only 3 hits for Crashman here. And bosses have really low iframes in Mega Man 2.
And here we are in Forso for replay.
You can actually double hit them with the tornadoes there if you shoot in a specific way. Neither of them were able to get the doubles, but this race is pretty close. I think Orsa picked up a little bit of time in Clash because his consistent item 3 climb, like he did it flawlessly, whereas Fatso gave up a little bit of time trying to do the fast strat there. How do you feel about Quickman stage?
Actually, I'm not that bad with it, but I've actually memorized these laser patterns to lots of death, so...
Yeah, this is one that people remember pretty well from their first playthrough. There's a couple zips in this stage. Fatso has a pretty unique setup for the first zip there. Has a little bit of trouble with it the first time, but gets it the second time.
And he goes for light for this laser section, which I don't blame anyone for.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that in this tournament. People that have been following this game a long time are used to seeing this stage in the dark, but that has pretty much been abandoned. Most people play this stage with the lights on now. It gives you a little bit better movement throughout the stage, and gives you a better chance of setting up the second zip in a specific way, because you can see the platforms. So Fatso going for the second zip. This one is scary, because if you over-zip, you actually soft-lock the game. You have to password back. Very nice wiggling for Fatso there.
And he's on the Quickman.
Yeah, you have exact ammo to kill him with crash bombs here.
I believe his primary weakness is supposed to be Flash Stopper, but let's be real, we're not using that for that purpose.
Yeah, in Rockman 2, Flash actually only deals half damage to him, so not only do you have to wait for the duration of the Flash Stopper, but it doesn't even kill him. So yeah, crash bombs are going to be quite a bit faster. Casually, you have to make the choice of whether you wanted to use Flash in the stage or in the fight, because they stop his quick beams. Okay, so no soft locks here. Both people are through quick. That's always a good thing to see in these type of races.
And we have Fatso going for a Metal Man, which I believe in a more casual playthrough would probably be your first stop, just because his weapon is so good.
Yeah, a lot of people really lean on the Metal Blade. You actually don't see it that much in the speedrun. It definitely gets its uses in the castle stages, but you don't see it as much as you would think. Fatso's first zip setup was beautiful, by the way. Placed it about just as high as you can. Has a little trouble with the second zip setup so the Orsa's going to get a little bit of a chance to catch up.
And flying over our tin cans.
Yeah, item 2 goes a little bit faster than Mega Man does, so if you can get a full item 2 ride, you're saving a little bit of time, I think, even with the extra menu. Although, in this case, doing this screen without the item 2 would be a nightmare. So Metal's an interesting fight in that he reads your B button presses. So when you press the B button, he'll attack. If you press it as the fight starts and then just continue to hold it down, he won't do anything for a while. So you get a chance to actually kill him while he just sits there and takes it.
And if you actually approach him, he jumps to the other side of the room.
Right, so you're trying to just hold B and jump up on that conveyor without crashing.
Having issues with the jumping.
Yeah. But so far so good for both runners. Really, the difference in the race right now is just that quick death that Orsa took in Airman, but that's a lead that can be reversed at any time. I believe Orsa grabbed the one-up in quick. I did not see if Fatso did.
Yeah, Fatso's coming up on our second major zip.
Okay, so Fatso didn't. So that's always something to keep in mind, because you take 2 death warps in this run. If you don't grab any extra one-ups, then any death is a game over. So the goal there, what Fatso was trying to do, was use Flash to get past all 3 dogs, but he missed a little mini-zip, so last dog spawns, he had to kill him with Metal Blade. Orsa going to be going for the same strat. We'll see if he can get the little mini-zip. He nailed it, so he's going to actually get past this 3rd dog. And then, oh! So Fatso missed a jump there. He's actually going to have to play the rest of the stage, because he doesn't have another life.
This just made me
does he know it, though? He does, okay. Nothing worse than going through that zip again, and you don't have an extra life. You get through the entire wood zip, kill yourself, and then find out it's game over and start at the beginning. But you're going to see the second half of Woodman stage, which you'll see a few times in this tournament. No runner's hoping to see it. Well, most of them aren't, but you're going to see it a couple times when stuff like this happens. The wood zip is very similar to the crash zip, except it's just longer, more involved. You're going through a lot more screens. It's kind of just a long memory test.
And Orsa gets it.
Yep. So Orsa is taking the lead.
Now, Woodman, I believe his primary weakness was supposed to be Heatman's weapon, but air shooter's quicker.
Yeah, feels like Woodman has a lot of weaknesses. I think metal kills him pretty fast. We use air here because it shoots through his shield. So unlike normal mode where you would just kill him with heat, this way you can kill him a lot quicker because Heatman obviously can't shoot him through the shield.
And we come to poor Bubble Man.
Oof.
The least and most forgotten of the Mega Man 2 Robot Masters.
Yeah. It's a little nervous for Fatso there. Woodman and his Leaf Shield actually do 8 damage, and so he was one hit away there, but he was able to get close to him without touching him. Good item 2 ride there for Orsa.
Just go past all those frogs.
Yeah, if you place it right and you know what you're doing, it can be pretty easy. There's a couple of alternate strats. We're going to see them both doing item 2, though. So we're going to see item 2, and then item 1, and then metal in this stage.
I believe we have a couple of potential zips in the stage, like right here.
Yeah. So we're going to see them both do that one. There's a second zip in the stage we're not going to see from these runners, but we'll probably see in other spots in the tournament. You see Orsa is a member of Team A Trigger. Fatso B triggers here, then I have to root for him. Oh, rip. I can't root for either of these guys.
Well, rip in peace. Anyway, we're up to Bubble Man, who has a actually pretty simple pattern.
Yeah. You can shoot 1, 2, or 3 bubbles. 1 and 2 are relatively fast. The 3 bubble pattern is really laggy and slow. 1 bubble's fastest, and that's what Orsa got. And he is through the 8 robots.
And
Fatso
not the pilot stages.
Yep.
Fatso not too far behind him, but that failed zip and Woodman cost him pretty dearly.
Yeah, they're definitely within range where one mistake in the castle stages would reverse it, just like we saw one mistake put Orsa in the lead. So, Wily stages, in my opinion, are probably the real difficult part of this run. Particularly Wily 1 and then 4, 5, and 6. They're all stages that it's easy to lose a lot of time in. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Both runners probably know that they're pretty close.
Or entering Wily 1. We'll see how... Oh. Okay. Just item 2 through the first portion. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, this is probably the strat you'll see most in this tournament. Using item 2 for this first screen, and then item 1 and Wily 2. You'll see some people do. They'll save their item 2 for Wily 2, but if you're not afraid to set up the first zip in Wily 2, this is definitely gonna be the faster way to go.
Orsa going through that first zip in Wily 1.
Nails it. Very good. So Fatso's doing a little manipulation with the bird that Orsa missed. So when he jumps over this third toothpaste dispenser, you'll see that one despawn. So that saves a little bit of time if you keep the bird on screen.
So you call those Wigglies toothpaste. I just call them Wigglies.
I mean, either works. Orsa actually had the third item 1 set up for the zip, but it looked a little close to him. He decided not to risk it, because if you think that you're good and you're not, you fall. And not only do you have to climb back up, but you waste a bunch of item 1s, your items don't refill between stages, and that can be really slow. So Orsa plays it safe there. Definitely don't blame him for that decision.
Orsa coming up on the dragon, which is both a very simple and easy boss, but one that can be kind of a pain.
Yeah, don't touch the dragon, because that will one-hit KO you, so... That's the main thing to understand about this fight. So some people will go to the top block, and some will go to the bottom.
Orsa is one of those ones that goes to the bottom.
Yeah, so that's typically going to be the most common strat. But yeah, he inches forward very carefully, It's to manipulate him into not firing, because he's supposed to fire a fireball at you right at the start of the fight. But if you drop down like right as the fight starts, then he won't fire it at you. And if you kill him fast enough, he won't fire another fireball. Whew! I'm mashing with Fatso, so he picked up some time there.
Now, here's the thing about that fight. If he does manage to get a fireball off on you and it hits you, you're probably tumbling to your death.
Yeah, it's hard to survive that. If you go to the top block early and he hits you from up there, it's safer to be up there. Woohoo! Nice setup for Orsa. That was pretty bold. Orsa is on 0 lives, so Fatso has already... No, Fatso is also on 0, so... If they take a death on this first one, they'll game over. A game over here is actually better than a normal death, because you get your items refilled. Okay. Fatso looks like he's got it. Gets the A trigger. He's good.
And we're past the Zip and Wily too.
Yeah, that's always pretty scary, because you're setting it up over spikes, and if you do it wrong, it means you're dead. So, good job for both of these runners getting it on the first try.
I mean, it's not particularly scary when you're on 0 lives. It just means you get a free item refill.
Yeah. If you do, then a lot of people will just use item 2 the second time. You actually get a free tank out of the deal. But it is like a 20-second time loss. It's definitely, in a race this close, not somewhere you want to die.
And we're on to the Wily 2 boss room.
Yeah, not a lot going on in this fight. I like to contribute this in my commentary because I learned this at GDQ from Zoda, but these bosses actually spawn on a frame roll. So a lot of people go a little crazy trying to mash, and they mash too early and miss a shot. That's actually the only way you're going to lose time in this fight. As long as your mashing is decent, you can delay a little bit and they'll spawn at the same time. So don't go crazy.
I guess I just have a hard time calling this a boss. More of a room.
Yeah. I mean, we're at the end of a castle stage. I mean, it's got to be a boss, right?
I guess. You just see stains flying at you.
Yeah. I mean, people have definitely died there before, so don't underestimate Pico Pico. So Wily 3 is supposed to be the breather stage.
Exactly, it's an environment. Now, how many fish will we see?
I want to say 2 for Orsa.
1 fish? 2 fish.
A double Saba ping. The fish blessing the run. Showing their attachment.
Wily 3 is easily the least dangerous of the Wily stages. Even
Yeah, yep. There's spikes and pits everywhere, but if you know what you're doing, this definitely should be the stage you feel comfortable in.
And we come up to the guts tank.
If neither of them die, can you put that commentator's curse thing to bed? Because there's no such thing. It's only bad players. There's no commentator's curse. Alright, so Orsa takes care of Guts Tank. Fatso actually can 2-jump this Guts Tank, which would help him pick up some time. But Orsa's got a fairly comfortable lead. This is his race to lose at this point, but you have 3 really difficult stages. Woohoo! 2-jump. Wow. Impressive.
4.
You could probably count on one hand the number of people that have 2-jumped Guts Tank, so that's an impressive boss kill for Fatso.
Let's talk about Wily 4 for a bit, because this stage requires pretty precise item usement.
Yeah. Orsa going for a similar item 3 climb to what he did in Clash, which it doesn't lose much time and it's super consistent. Fatso going to be trying to do the instant placements, so again, if he does it correctly, he can pick up some time on Orsa here. Orsa gets part of the extended zip at the top, but doesn't quite get the full one, but I think he's got to be pretty happy with his climb. Oh, so Fatso misses the vertical zip there. He's going to have to go around.
A brief note, this room has an invisible floor over those spikes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right before the ladder. So again, neither has a life. So if they die in this spike portion, they game over and go back to the beginning of the stage. If you die against the boss fight here, you just wish that you game over because... Okay, so Orsa picked up some extra item 1 in Wily 2. So this is going to really help him here.
Orsa having fun with this walker, though.
This is not a place you want to be if you're Orsa right now. Because this health is just not okay. Yeah, this is gonna get worse. This is gonna get worse before it gets better.
Oh no!
So that's a game over. We're gonna see this. Get used to game overs on Wily 4. That is gonna be a theme in this tournament.
Fatso gets the zip, and he takes the lead.
Yep, and he wiggles in, and he's ready to do the fight, and he falls. So let's see if he knows the backup for this fight. It looks like he's got a good plan. Ooh, so that's going to be too high. So you're trying to place that crash bomb on the left such that you can kill the top boo beam and the barrier at the same time.
Now, if the rest of the fight goes perfectly, he'll have 1 crash bomb left over.
Well, he actually doesn't have enough for the damage transfer, so he's going to have none.
Oh. Well, rip the Wily.
But he survived it, which is what he needs to do to stay ahead of Orsa. So now he just needs to not game over in refights. Oh my goodness! Rockman 2 Endgame is just something else. So, okay, the Wily machine without any crash bombs is pretty scary. So Fatso's going to be looking to try to... I don't know how much he's practiced it without crash bombs, but you can bet he's going to try to keep his health high going into the machine fight. Especially if he knows that Orsa took a game over. He knows that the only way that he's likely to lose here is if he game overs here or in Wily 6. Orsa trying to set up this last step again. Wow. Stops 1 tile from the door. That was really good for Orsa. And he sets up that first bomb perfectly.
Alright.
And Fatso keeping his health high. That's the way to go. That bomb's a little low. So Orsa's also going to be short a bomb. See if he can set up this damage transfer here. Looks like he's good.
Yep, he got it. He'll have 1 bomb for Wily machine.
Yep. So Fatso's still with full health. He's in the driver's seat right now. Well, ooh, smacked my airman. But you can see, like it's in his mind, like he knows he wants to get the health from all of them. So he took the time to go and make sure he picked up that health after he got hit as well. So Fatso playing a smart game here. Takes the 10 damage hit from heat, and another. Be careful! Oh man, scared me, Fatso.
Although the Wily machine without crash bombs or E-tanks is a very scary fight, even at full health.
Yeah, obviously Fatso has some good mashing. I don't know if he can diagonally double mash Metal Blades.
Say goodbye to Metal Man.
Yeah, brief cameo in the refights for Metal Man. Okay, well, Fatso going into machine with full health. This is where he wants to be. We'll see what he decides to do. There's multiple options you have here. So he's going to switch to heat. Okay.
In the game.
Yeah, this is a good call. So he's just dodging damage in this first phase. That works well. And now he should have enough health to just tank and mash. And he only takes 1 hit there, so very good job by Fatso.
The thing I would keep in mind for that Wily machine too is just realize it's impossible most of the time to dodge those shots.
Yeah, in the second phase, like it's basically just treat it like a damage race. Try to get in as much damage as you can. When you get hit, use your iframes to get in as much damage as possible. Okay, so Fatso is actually skipping. He might have only had 1 item 1, actually, because he had to use 1 in the Wily 4 fight. So he might not know the item 1 backup. He may know that he's far enough ahead that he just needs to not risk an overzip. Because Orsa's going into the machine fight here. So if Orsa beats machine and Fatso dies to alien, then we'll see the lead swap again. Now, again, like the dragon, you don't want to touch the alien.
Although I believe the alien only just drops you 1 health.
Yeah, I think he does like 20 damage or something. It's obscene.
But of course, his weakness weapon means you have to get close and personal with him.
Right. So you take damage from the bullets, and he got it. Good job for ColonelFatso. Takes game 1.
Orsa hot on his heels, though.
Yeah, it was a good race. We saw a couple. What did we see? 3 lead changes, I think.
2, I believe.
Yeah, we saw Orsa die in air, and then we saw Fatso die in wood, and then Orsa died in Wily 4. And all those basically conspired to shape this race. But every time there was a big mistake, someone else, the other runner was close enough to pass him. So it was.
And I'd like to point out that ColonelFatso finished with an official time of 30:22.
Okay.
With Orsa at 31:18.
Spoilers, man.
Oh.
Is Orsa going to survive the fight? Oh, he does. He does. Good job, GG Orsa. Okay, so...
Oh, ColonelFatso's comment. Slow motion disaster.
Good stuff. So that was a really good first race. We have a best of 3 here, so Fatso is up 1-0. If you're Orsa, you know you had that race. Like, the race was yours until Wily 4, so you got to be feeling pretty confident. You just come back and play your game, that you can go ahead and take game 2 and force the rubber match. But, man, what a nerve-wracking game this is, huh?
Sometimes it feels like everything's out to get you.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time to feel comfortable. Like, you get done with one difficult thing and you have another thing. So I'm sure they'll be setting up for their second race here shortly.
In fact, they are right now.
Well, I gotta say, I'm gonna be rooting for Orsa in this next one. I always like to see more Mega Man, so let's see this go to a 3rd game.
And while they're getting set up, I'm going to get up for some water.
Sounds good.
And I'm back.
Welcome back. Didn't miss too much, just Rockman's hair blowing in the wind.
But it is worth noting how close that first match was.
Yeah, I guess we didn't talk about the participants too much, but we really have a pretty even match here. So these are the 2nd and 3rd seeded players in their group. I want to say their PBs are like 30 seconds apart, something pretty close. I'll actually look it up right now. Orsa's a 29-12, and Fatso's 29-26, so actually 14 seconds apart. So we expect close races from these guys, and we saw from the first race, and that was anybody's race. Like, the person who made the last mistake was the one that was going to lose, and that's exactly how it played out. Just in general... Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, just in general, their styles are pretty interesting to watch. Fatso's a little bit more aggressive with strats. He goes for some slightly faster strats. Orsa is based a little bit more in consistency, just in general. And it's a really interesting dilemma that you have for a tournament, or when you're racing. Like, what kind of strats do you go for? Do you go for the ones that you can execute the highest, percentage of the time, or do you go for the ones that are faster? And a lot of times it depends on your position or who you're racing against. In this case, with them being pretty equally matched, it definitely presents just a... It's I don't know. I always like these type of races where you have two people that are really close in skill level, but go for a variety of different strats. You gotta get to see the difference.
We'll be starting in just a moment. Both of them are ready.
Cool. Exciting. I think this race is probably going to look like the last one. You never know in Rockman 2. Sometimes it can just be a disaster right from the start. But, yeah, I don't think they're probably going to change their approach much based on the first race. I think, obviously, Fatso won, so you got to be feeling okay about that. And then Orsa knows he could have won that race with one less mistake. So I think you just go about things the same way and just, hope to execute just slightly better, make one fewer mistake than you did last time.
And hope the birds are kind.
Birds are jerks.
Look, those birds scarred me enough as a kid.
For those that don't know, Rockman is the Japanese name for Mega Man. The difference between the US and Japanese version of this game, the US version has a normal mode and a difficult mode. The Japanese version only has the difficult mode. So since we're playing this on difficult, we want to use the Japanese version because it saves 42 seconds in text. So a lot less waiting around in between stages. This is the superior version if you want to play difficult.
Also, both runners have readied up, so we should be ready, and they should be good to go.
Cool. Bring it. So we're heading back to Flash. I'm not sure that there's anything to say about Flash that hasn't already been said and will be said throughout this tournament.
Well, did you know that Flashman is canonically bald?
Okay, maybe we will hear something different. I was not aware of that. Canonically, you say?
Canonically, I believe.
Alright. I'm gonna have to take your word on that one. I've not studied up on the lore.
The deep and interesting lore of Mega Man. I have not totally been going through stuff for no apparent reason.
Yeah. Yeah, Flashman is your ice physics stage in this game. It's not really that interesting. But the boss fight at the end definitely is. I would say the minor consideration that you have is like that tin can there. If you bonk into him and take his full damage, you might be at low health. Then if the fight goes wrong, you have a chance of dying. Both of these guys going in with full health. The question will be whether they get the kill without the flash or not, which saves 2 seconds or more. The sausage block. I don't know the sausage block.
I don't either.
Man, I am way behind on my Flashman stage lore. Hopefully I'll get caught up throughout this tournament as I watch more of these races.
And you want to be as close as possible and hope you don't miss a single buster shot. Which Fatso and Orsa both didn't. Well, they might miss one or two, but whatever.
I didn't see a flash there. So, good fights from both racers there. So as we can expect, it's pretty close out of Flash. Heat usually stays pretty close too. There's a couple important tricks. On the first screen, there's an item 3 throw that saves like 1.5 to 2 seconds. And then
zip on the third screen.
Sure. Yeah, the zip you can definitely mess up the execution of it and lose some time there. We saw last race that Fatso made up some time on Orsa on the Yoku blocks, taking them just at a slightly faster pace. And then Heatman himself, again, we saw a little difference in strats last time as well. So, yeah, we'll see. We probably should expect some similar stuff here. Some different strats, and let's see who hits that in free throw. Yeah. So Fatso first with the item 3 throw, nails it, and Orsa nails it. Very good. That's not super easy to do.
And the screen is so happy for them.
Yeah, some people in other Mega Man games you actually have to turn to get knocked to the right. In this game, you actually get hit in the direction the enemy is facing. So you jump into that spring and he just knocks you to the right every time. You don't actually have to do anything. It's pretty nice.
Yoku blocks again. So taking them at a slightly faster clip. Not too surprising.
Yep, very good. And then again, we see Fatso switching to Flash. He's gonna... Ooh. Oh, nice. I actually didn't realize that you could freeze him that low.
Okay. I thought that was going to be a for sure bonk, but I guess hitboxes.
Yeah, they're just suggestions, really. So again, Fatso's going to do the Heat Dance. He's going to get right up in Heat's face and tango with him here.
Orsa choosing to take this a little slower.
Yeah.
Because again, getting bonked by Heatman is Orsa much kind of your health bar.
Yeah, 10 damage is more than any of the Robot Masters do by touching them. It's definitely something you want to avoid. So after that first bonk, Fatso has a very good fight. It didn't look like his RNG was fantastic. Heatman can charge you after 30, 60, or 90 frames, so half a second, or a second and a half. He does that 13 times, so there's actually a variance between like the absolute best and absolute worst pattern of 13 seconds in that fight. I don't think either got really good patterns, so I'm not sure that was a big determining factor there, but they will both be going on to air.
If anything, I think it gave Orsa a little bit of catch-up time.
Yeah, maybe. It's hard to tell, because Fatso is also doing a faster fight there, so... Pattern might have been a little kinder to Orsa, but Fatso out-executed just a little bit, but
and
really
close.
close.
To our first stage that spun the first match right around.
Yep, we've got a difference of just under 4 seconds here between the two. This is where Orsa took his first stumble in the last race. So again, we're going to be watching for them doing these item 1s through this open air section, but we're also going to be watching their health, because that's very important for this. Oof. Fatso got knocked off the item 1, but thankfully did not fall. And so Fatso fails the bird manipulation. He's going to try to go for a backup wiggle here. And he gets it. So he actually keeps his health at 14. Orsa hits the bird manipulation, but accidentally bonks the last cloud guy. So he's going to be short health again, but not as short as he was last time, as long as he doesn't get hit again. Like, this is a manageable amount of health, because you can take 2 hits from Airman, but once you're at the point where you can only take 1, you're sweating bullets. That said, yeah, if you get, there's 2 of the 5 patterns that you really can't dodge. If you get those 3 times in a row, you're just going to be outright dead. So Orsa's going to be hoping for at least 1 pattern he can dodge here.
And 1 pattern he can dodge means he wins the fight. It's fine.
Probably, yeah. We hope so. But yeah, good stage for both. They both nailed fast air. That's the real scary part. You lose close to a minute if you fail it.
Fatso getting bad patterns.
Yeah, that's a jerk pattern. And Orsa doesn't get a great one either. He does get one he can dodge, though, so...
2 he can dodge, I think. Oh.
Gotta jump! No! That was so close. That was so close.
Wow.
He timed the jump over him, so Airman, you can get a few free hits from behind, and then the wind will sweep you away. You gotta jump at the right time so you don't get just blown into Airman, but he actually timed the jump over Airman, but hit his tornado. It's pretty unfortunate. Orsa's got to be wondering what he needs to do to catch a break against air. As we saw last time, Orsa took a death against air and then caught up and led for most of the race, from Wood through Wily 4. So this race is far from over. This is Rockman 2.
This game is a jerk.
Yeah, there's so much difficult execution in this game, and there are so many punishing mistakes you can make that you really can't relax ever. So, Fatso
is having some difficulty.
Yeah, so when he placed this item, he accidentally grabbed the ladder. He goes for a safer setup the second time, and he accidentally grabbed the ladder there too, so it's actually a good thing that he did. So he's going to get the zip. He's going to be down on item 1, so his climb is going to be a bit slower. So Orsa's picked up a little time if he can nail this second screen zip correctly.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. And Orsa's good. So we'll see how Fatso manages his item 1s in the climb here. He decides to skip the ones there, and so I think that puts him back on track. He should be able to use the normal 2 in this screen. Okay, so he's good to go.
Another 2 on the screen, I believe. Oh, 3.
And so we'll see if he has a little bit more success with his climb. Looks good so far.
The birds are being kind.
He's got 1 more to go, but he's hit every item 3 placement so far. Excellent climb for Fatso. That's just what he needed after the zip troubles. Alright, we'll see if Fatso can get a double hit on this fight here. Ooh. When he does that tall jump, that's when you can get it, but the timing on it is kind of specific, especially on the second one. Just because it's harder to plan for than the first one. Orsa with a good item 3 climb as well. He hasn't had a bad item 3 climb yet.
It's a quick man.
And he gets just a bad pattern. There wasn't really much he could do with that. With the strat he went for anyhow. Again, so Fatso didn't pick up the 1-up last time. So we can expect him to skip it here as well. It's really a tactical decision in this game whether you want to pick up a 1-up or not. Again, because you play most of the game at 0 lives. There's some places where a game over is beneficial, and there's some where a game over is harmful. And so you're just kind of gambling a little bit on if you die. Ooh, so Fatso having a little trouble with his setup here again.
Orsa has to take that 1-up though because he's at 0 lives, and he needs one for the Woodman skip.
You got it. Nailed it. So there are actually 2 1-ups in this stage. You can pick up the one in the beginning, which is easy, but a little bit slower. Then you have the one during the fall, which is pretty quick, but runs the risk of death if you mess it up. So you're going to see a little bit of differences throughout the tournament on that as well. So there's the one I'm talking about on Fatso's screen. If you feel like just stopping on a ledge while death beams are coming at you, feel free to take that one.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, so no soft lock from Fatso there. Pretty solid. Gets the zip set up on the first try. Orsa's going to be coming up on that shortly.
And it's the quick man, where you have just enough bombs for him.
Yep. And if you miss one, it just takes forever for it to explode. It's really slow. But good fight for Fatso there. Okay. Orsa safely wiggles his way in from downtown. But nails the zip setup on the first try, so that was good. We'll see how his fight goes. Looks good so far. Just one more. Nice. Pretty tough fight because, I mean, Quick Man's tough and then the terrain is uneven. It can be really difficult to do that fight without missing a bomb. Alright. Fatso misses the zip setup on the first try, but gets a really quick backup. That probably didn't cost him more than like a second. And And then I believe he's going to go for the second zip setup again. I think he went for it once last try and then just moved on. Ooh, very nice setup. Man, his toe was just barely on that item 1. Orsa basically doing exactly what Fatso did on the first zip. We'll see how Orsa's second zip is here. Oh no, he just
he just says, screw that.
That zip, I'm told, like, executed optimally saves like half a second. So, like, there's not a huge reason to do it, and if you do it poorly, you're not really saving time. But hey, half second's a half second. Fatso definitely saved that half second because his zip setup was basically ideal. Yeah, exactly. All right, Fatso will be moving on. He's going to be going to wood, and he had some issues there last time, so going to be looking for some revenge here. All right, Orsa has a perfect Metal Man fight.
Everyone just rock out to a man's thing for a moment.
Oh man, you could say that about just about every stage in this game.
True. But some themes are better than others.
Alright, so Fatso's gonna go for this wiggle. Doesn't get it here either, so he's gonna have to switch and kill that third dog. Orsa nailed it last time. Hopefully, he's hoping he can get it again and catch up a little bit. Now Fatso will be going for this big zip. Last time he failed to jump over one of the like invisible pits that you can't actually see. You just have to memorize where to jump.
Please do not rock out to Wily 3.
Ooh, Fatso had a little bit of trouble there again. So Orsa doesn't get the triple dogs, but rather than kill the third dog, he switches to item 1 and zips over, which I like that.
Orsa does not condone, violence against dogs.
Oh man, these guys are scaring me. What's going on here? Orsa had a little bit of trouble with that invisible pit too, but also doesn't die. So Fatso takes care of Woodman. Orsa is coming up towards the end of the zip. Again, we've got a pretty close race. We're one mistake apart, as we've been throughout the entirety of the first race and the second race.
Up to Bubble Man now, and I'm never going to stop giving Bubble Man flack for existing.
Oh yeah? Not a fan, huh?
I just feel like there's...
You think that's the... Is that the worst Robot Master concept?
No. I think there's someone that's... I think there's a couple that are worse.
Oh, okay. I mean, Bubbles aren't very intimidating.
He at least is, he at least has the dubious distinction of being the alien's weakness.
Yeah, it's true. They always give you the worst weapon to fight the final boss.
Like Sigma 2 with the rolling shield.
Yeah, right. It's exactly the weapon you want for that fight.
I would just prefer doing that Buster only, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so Fatso manages to not die to the spikes. When you're at 0, when you decide not to take the extra life, you're really hoping you don't take a death in Bubble Man stage, because it's going to be in the second half of the stage, and it's going to be a game over if you die here, most likely. You can take a first screen death, but it's more likely you're going to die to these spikes if you're using Metal.
No, I don't think Dustman is the worst Robot Master concept. At least his weapon's useful. It's more than you can say for Stone Man. Excuse me, I'm talking to chat.
No, you're good.
It's the world record holder of a Mega Man X Buster only. You just use your only shield on that fight. Unless you see like 2.5 minute long bosses.
I think he means blaster only.
Yeah, I know.
So Fatso gets the 3 bubble pattern, Orsa gets the 1 bubble. I think it was 1. It definitely was less than 3. So, picks up a little bit of time there. Now, again, we've got the castle stages. As we saw last time, castle stages can definitely make the difference in the race. Last time, Orsa came in ahead and took a misstep in Wily 4, and that cost him the race. So now the tables are turned. Fatso comes in with the lead. Not a gigantic one. Definitely one that that one mistake can easily even up. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I'm just a little apprehensive. Because Wily 1 is one of the more dangerous Wily stages.
So Fatso burns his first item 1 on that zip setup. The second one he didn't get on immediately, so I think he just decided at that point, just don't waste any more item 1s. The setup didn't look good, and so he just skips that first zip, which I think is a good call at that point. He tried to use his extra item 1 in the climb, but that one despawned as well. So I think he's right on his item 1 routing count, whatever you want to call it. Ooh.
Missed the zip.
Yeah, that was a good placement. He just didn't quite face the right direction. So, but it wasn't bad. He didn't fall. Orsa, meanwhile, nails the first zip, tightening it up even just a little bit more.
Which would have been disastrous.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, falling here is bad. So we'll see if Orsa, that first one's high. That's good. So he's got it. He nailed both zips. Fatso nailed neither. So we saw the lead shrink in this stage.
And we're up to the dragon.
Yeah, I think that might be more than a little. That was a very clean stage for Orsa there. Okay, so Fatso's mashing on the dragon is pretty good. One of the best you'll see in the tournament. So he's going to teleport out at 1928, almost 1929. And we'll see Orsa taking his turn at the dragon here. That was a really fast fight as well. Man, Orsa never told me he could mash. He teleports out at 1947. So what are we down to? 19 seconds?
Something like that.
18 something.
Okay, well,
very nice setup for Fatso. Nails the A trigger. He's good to go.
Whew.
Pretty scary point in the run. So Orsa again gonna grab the item 1 refill. It's just insurance mostly against that last Wily 4 zip going incorrectly.
Again.
Yeah. Last time he had the extra item 1, and it just oh! That's unfortunate. Game over there is not too bad, but when you're already behind, that's definitely not a death you can afford to take. So Fatso, obviously listening to the broadcast, knows that his lead just grew a little bit more. But this is the type of lead that still Wily 4 will equalize, still Wily 6 will equalize, still Wily 5. Because, again, Fatso has no extra lives, so any death he takes is a game over.
And game overing on Wily 4 could easily divorce the win.
Right. And speaking of game overs, Orsa took a game over on that death, which again, that's actually a beneficial game over. So he was able to ride item 2 across the spikes the second time, gets a life refill, gets his item 1 refilled. Fatso gets to do this fight without having like 4 health like last time, so didn't have any problems last time, definitely not going to have any problems this time.
Also coming on to Wily's Blockberg room.
Yeah, the environment, the boss environment.
Yeah.
Are we not even calling it a boss? Be careful disrespecting this boss, because it will kill you in the future when you least expect it.
I know. Especially after you have a bad drill hallway.
Yeah. I think the boss is like 6 damage here, so it's not something you can sleep on. As long as you know where to move, though, they always spawn in the same spots, so it's not something where it requires a lot of execution or reflexes or whatever. You're just doing the same thing every time, but gotta make sure you don't get lulled into a false sense of security.
Like all the bosses in the Wily stages are dangerous, except maybe the Guts tank. What is your position on the Guts tank's danger rating?
The danger of Guts tank?
Yes.
I don't think that it merits a rating.
It probably just merits being laughed at. Let's be honest.
I would say that this is a less dangerous boss than the Wily 2 boss. So that's, I guess, that's how I would rate it. I can only rate it in reference to a boss that you called not a boss.
Well, the Wily 2 boss is more like, just a collection of like singular enemies flying at you.
Yeah, fair enough. Fatso 1 hit short of the 2 jump, but he did get it in the first round. Oh. So the rich get richer, Orsa gets a 1-up.
Just a little bit more of insurance, or
Yeah, Fatso picking up the extra item 3 there. Again, when you know you have a lead, like you have to do what you can to maintain it. So Fatso's just going to try to close this one out. He knows he's up 1-0. He knows he just needs to get through these last 3 stages. Probably without dying would be good enough. But these are 3 stages that are very good at killing you also. At least Wily 4 and Wily 6. Whew, that item 3 had a mind of its own.
Wily 4 and Wily 5 are very good at killing you.
Yeah. Yeah, again, we saw last time Fatso's smart. He's willing to pick up every health drop from the refights if he has to, if he knows he's in the lead. So we can expect that again. I think he would probably be a little bit more worried about this stage. Probably this one. I think he would feel pretty confident against Alien. But all right, so far pretty good on the spike fall for Fatso here.
Again, I scoff at Wily 2's boss, but I will note that even though Wily 6's, the Alien, is a very simple fight, it can still kill you very easily.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so Fatso is in. He gets the zip. He gets the wiggle. See if he gets the... Ooh, okay, so... Ooh! So the first time he underzipped this time he overzips it. The result is going to be pretty much the same. Ooh, okay.
No.
So he can't... Okay, so he's going to have to be careful health-wise. But I think he's still fine. So far looking pretty good. I think he can take 2 more hits, so I think he's alright.
I believe these are called booby traps.
Yes. And he nails the double on the bottom right. That's huge, because Orsa had a good Wily 4, and definitely gained some ground on him. So Fatso has just enough health for that damage transfer. He's actually going to bring both Crash Bombs into Wily 5. That was huge.
And that's just basically a 2-shot Wily machine.
Right.
Which is all you need.
So Orsa nails the double this time. He had a very good Wily 4. That's definitely the type of stage you need when you're behind. So he made so also Fatso has 1 item 1 for the Wily 6 zip. And I don't know that he knows the 1 item setup. And Orsa does have the item 1s for the zip. So that's time save that Orsa can get on Fatso and Wily 6. That walk of shame is pretty long. So Fatso now just 1 fight ahead of Orsa. With, again, keeping in mind that Orsa has a time save built into Wily 6 on Fatso. Okay, so Fatso gets hit by the shield, but manages to avoid any other damage. So he knows his lead is shrunk now. He avoids Woodman's health there. Orsa is a little bit low on health. He's going to have to probably pick up health somewhere. Let's see if he can do a damageless Woodman. He gets hit.
Or he does have an E-tank.
Okay. So he kills him, gets the health. Man, Oh, Orsa tries to take the D-boost on the tornado there, but can't quite get it, so he's going to have kind of a slower airman fight. Slower than Fatso. I didn't see the Heatman pattern. Fatso gets a one bubble. So now he's closing 90 for Orsa there. I think Fatso's opened up a little bit. Like, I think he's had a better refights than Orsa here. Oh, he has no item 1. Ah. Oh, yeah, he placed the double item 1 on the second time. Yeah.
That could be all that Orsa needs to win this.
Okay, so Fatso uses both his crash bombs and has a good. Yep. So let's see, 28-12 is the split for Fatso. We have Orsa needs to make sure he doesn't miss a crash bomb here. Gets the first one. Okay, second one was a little low, but he got it. So he's gonna teleport out at 31. That's 19 seconds. That is, I mean, the zip doesn't save that much time.
At this point, he's just hoping that Fatso bonks into the alien.
Yeah. I think if the refights had gone the other way and Orsa had picked up some time on Fatso there, then this would be a little bit tighter. But right now, Fatso's entering the alien first. So as long as he can take care of business here, great zip for Orsa. That's a beautiful setup. And he's in the fight. So, here we go. Okay, good start so far for Fatso. Oh, he jumped on the alien! Oh my god! Okay, now Orsa needs to not touch the alien, and he has this one. Rockman 2! What a game this is! Just take the D-boost, get the hits, and Orsa takes game 2! Oh my god!
Orsa has not done with an official time of 29:33.
Oh my god. No, that was definitely an alien hug for Fatso. He had too much health. That was alien does, I think, 20 damage. And because the way you do this fight is to take damage boosts from him, if you hug the alien, you're almost guaranteed to be dead. So yeah, we're gonna see a game 3. And Fatso showing how he wished he had done it the first time.
And Fatso got done with an official time of 30:14.
Wow. This is gonna be a heck of a tournament.
ColonelFatso.
I keep telling you, it's just not over till it's over. This game is too scary, and everything you do in this game has the potential to just ruin you.
ColonelFatso for pro tip for chat: don't hug the alien.
Yeah, don't hug the alien. If you're listening, kids at home, it may seem like a good idea. You may have seen E.T. and you think it's a good idea. It's not. Don't hug the alien.
All right, we're going on to game 3 of 3.
Well, this is what we wanted to see. I'm pretty excited. The last possible moment, like the last jump that Fatso needed to do to close it out. Like that was as far to the brink of victory as or on the brink of victory as Fatso could have been.
And you hug the alien.
That's just how this game goes. Like it's gonna happen to more. It's already happened. The alien hugs earlier in the tournament. We're gonna see it more in this tournament as well. It's just this. It's not an easy game.
Oh goodness. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
And props to Orsa for he had a great Wily 4. He managed to keep his 2 crash bombs. His Wily 5 was a little slow, but it was steady. He hit both crash bombs on the Wily machine. Just crushed the zip setup for Wily 6. Like all under pressure, knowing that he needs all this stuff to catch up. And yeah, closes it out. So
he needs all of it and possibly a choke from Fatso. And
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you can only control what you can control. You're hoping, you know, your opponent gives you a little bit of a slip up to give you a chance to get back into it, but you still got to execute. And Orsa's execution down the stretch was really strong, so he definitely earned that victory. I keep in mind that Fatso's time in the second race was slightly better than his time in the first race. So, yeah. Orsa pulled out a really good run there. So, what can we expect for the third race?
Oh, the main channel is coming to join us, by the way.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we can give them a little recap when they get here. I guess I'll save that, but we should be setting up for our third game pretty shortly here, though.
Orsa has not readied. Although while we're waiting for them to ready up, I am going to get a little bit more water.
Stay hydrated. Oh, is that right? Okay, well then I guess I'll go ahead and give you the recap. So for the people that are just joining us, this is the first round of the Rockman 2 Any Tournament. This is we have groups of 4. This is the second and third seed in the group. So these are the two that are going to be fighting most likely for the second spot to advance into the elimination round. Their PBs are 14 seconds apart. 29-12 for Orsa, 29-26 for Fatso. In race number 1, the lead changed like 3 times. Fatso ended up winning game 1 when Orsa took a death in the third to last stage in Wily 4. Then in the second race, Orsa took a death early. Fatso led the whole way, all the way until the very, very last hit on the last boss. He walked into the final boss, which does pretty much your entire life bar and damage, causing Orsa to take the lead and win game 2. So we're in a best of 3. We're going to be entering game 3 here, and the winner will go on to. I'm not sure if the other match has been played in this bracket, but either way, the winner will most likely go on to face the number 1 seed in the bracket for the chance to advance into the elimination round. These groups are double elimination, and this is the first match. So the loser here will still have a chance to climb back and fight their way into the elimination bracket. But yeah, getting their first crack at it here.
My goodness, what an end to a match.
Yeah.
They're going to begin soon.
Yep. So yeah, going into this third match, I really don't see either runner changing their style much. They both have played well. Just again, it's a difficult game, and they've kind of come up across these big mistakes that have really determined the outcomes of these races. So I think both runners feel confident that if they play their game, if they execute, that they'll take the win. So I think we probably will just see the same thing we've seen, another close race. So these runners are really evenly matched, and some slight strat variances.
And we're off. Back to Bald Man stage.
Oh, yeah, canonically Bald Man stage. So again, Flash, what a great stage. Maybe we can have Zoda talk about sausage blocks in chat, because I don't know anything about them.
Please.
Orsa gets sniped. So the guy on that first screen there, his bullet arc is random. Most of the time you'll get through without getting hit, but every so often he'll just feel like sniping you, and Orsa got sniped.
And that's not a good thing when you need to go into Flashman stage.
Yeah, the boss fight at the end is pretty tough. We've seen the runners handle him pretty okay, but if you go in with low health, you definitely run the risk of taking a death. But both of them avoiding that tin can there, and that puts them in good shape health-wise. So yeah, we'll be coming up on the boss fight. Flashman takes 14 buster shots. It's a pretty specifically choreographed fight. Flashman jumps whenever you shoot him on the ground, and he'll freeze you if he walks for a certain distance. So you want to try to keep shooting him as soon as he lands to keep him jumping so that he doesn't flash you, basically.
The other thing to point out is you don't really want to get bodied by him. He's not as bad on contact damage as others, but...
Yeah. So now we see the difference in getting flash versus knock it. Ooh, this is... Wow, that was clutch. Okay. That was clutch. So Orsa has 4 health, Flashman does 4 body contacts. So Flashman was chasing after him to give him a hug, and that would have killed him. But Orsa holds steady there. Fatso does gain 5 or 6 seconds on that fight, though, by getting the flashless kill. So... very, very good. So, I guess we haven't really talked about the route. We're going to see probably some slight variations in the tournament. This is going to be the common one we'll see, which is Heat second. You're always going to see Flash first, unless we have any runners that are going pure zipless in the tournament. But most people probably are going to be using at least some zips, and then you're going to want to go Flash first. So... Heat second is the big boy route, the world record route. The idea behind the route for this game, going Flash, Heat, Air, is you try to pick up the items. Those stages give you items 3, 1, and 2, respectively. And the items in this game allow you to enter walls and zip at incredible speed. So rather than follow a weakness order at the start, we're actually just going to collect these utility items. So Fatso is going to be setting up the first zip of the run right here after nailing the item 3 throw. Or did he get it? Actually, I didn't see that.
He was having a bit of an issue with the zip, but he got it eventually.
Yeah. Orsa's caught up a little bit here. He gets the zip on the first try. Now we see these Yoku blocks. This is kind of a scary part of doing this route. If you were to do Air second, you would have item 2. You could just fly right past all this. These blocks are pretty difficult to do fast because their spawning timing is not the same each time. It's based on how fast you do it and where you land on the blocks. So trying to do it consistently fast requires quite a bit of practice, and even then, it's pretty scary.
Fatso trying to save his health once again for Heat Man, so he can dance with death.
Yeah, so Fatso's fight here, what we call the Heat Dance, is built around doing these little buffer jumps based on the timings that Heatman can attack you at.
And Heatman bodies him once already.
Yeah, so that means he has the same health as Orsa here.
And that means 2 more bongs kills him.
Yeah, so they can take 1 hit. Orsa doing a little bit of a safer fight, putting some distance between him and Heatman, but we can see, as usual, Fatso saving a little bit of time in this fight by causing...
Oh no.
Ooh. Shorter. Yeah, actually, so that is the strat when you have 1 hit remaining. Okay.
They might have through it without dying, but it got a little hairy there.
Yeah. It's just like a minor optimization that if you bonk him when you have when he has 1 hit left, you can kind of stand right on top of him and make him charge even shorter than he normally would. So a lot of times you'll see runners just bonk into him right before his last hit. Okay, can Orsa break the Airman curse? That's what I want to know. So, again, for those that weren't here for the first 2 races, Orsa took a death to the Airman fight in both of the first 2 races. It wasn't a crippling handicap because he came back to take the lead in Game 1, and he came back to win Game 2. But I think he'd prefer to not start 30 seconds behind in this race. So we'll see if he can pull through. This is a scary stage. Again, they've managed to get through this first screen okay, without dying, which is good. That's the big time loss. But you also got to manage your health, and Orsa's had trouble with that in this screen. So we'll keep an eye on the runners here.
And the death here is very costly.
Yeah. So Fatso does the first screen perfectly. Gets the bird manip, avoids the damage on the last guy. And Orsa does the same. Okay, so you got perfect screen 1s from both runners. So at this point, now Fatso took a weird hit there that you don't normally see, so he's actually going to be a little bit short on health. Again, like we were saying last time, you can, with the amount of health that Orsa has, which is what's standard for this strat, you can take all 3 hits from Airman if he hits you in all 3 cycles. Unfortunately, Fatso can only take 2, so if he gets a jerk pattern from Airman, there's not really anything he can do about it. Speed-wise, though, their stages were about the same. Fatso might have even been a little bit faster than Orsa there. So if he can survive the fight, he didn't, he's fine. Then no harm, no foul. So the first pattern is undodgeable.
Jerk.
Second pattern's good, but he doesn't dodge it.
Watch it.
And the third pattern is undodgeable.
That's
Airman claimed the victim in all 3 races. If you would believe it. So, and now Orsa takes the lead as he kills him. Oh man, I love this game. What a great race game this is. Alright, Fatso takes care of Airman the second time. And yeah, Orsa takes the lead, but we have a pretty close race on our hands. Again, that death is not too long. Fatso's gonna have to go out of his way just a little bit for a 1-up and quick. The death itself is not that bad.
And now that we have all 3 items, we're on to break the rest of the game.
Yeah, now we start zipping, and from here on, we're pretty much just going to follow weakness order. You can actually do some of these stages out of order, since we have multiple weaknesses at this point. Orsa's been pretty steady with Clash today. This will be the first time he comes into Clash with a lead, so we'll see how he plays from being ahead. He's got a very solid, consistent second screen setup there. Fatso's is usually oh man, he's doing the Shoka dance on screen 1. It's not where you do it, Fatso. Yeah, Fatso's item 1 setup is a little bit more aggressive on the second screen, so he saves a little bit of time there. I don't think he saved time with the Shoka dance though.
Just ignoring the tin can. It's probably best.
Item 1 right over it. His hitbox is weird. You can kind of like touch the top of him with your feet and not take damage.
And we're on to our birds.
So we're going to see a difference in their item 3 climbs again. With Fatso being a little bit behind, you'll see him save, if he does these correctly, just a little bit of time. It doesn't save as much as you would think, placing these like perfect item 3s as he's trying to do. But it definitely saves some time. Orsa executes his climb, and Fatso misses one. So at this point, Orsa saved time with his climb by doing the steady strat. In 3 races, Fatso did it perfectly once, and struggled with it a couple other times. So you can see, going for a faster strat can certainly pay off. It just has to do with your execution. So if you'd gotten it 2 out of 3 times, you'd probably say it was worth. And if you get it 1 out of 3, then it wasn't worth. So it's just the razor's edge of your own personal execution.
Oh yeah, plenty of people died, and they take a couple of intentional deaths.
Yeah, we haven't had an unintentional deathless run in this best of 3 yet. The only chance left to do that now is Orsa, as Fatso's already died in this race. Alright, so quick man stage again. We're gonna see some slight different zip setups, some strat variations. Fatso gets that first 1-up because he took the death. He hasn't been getting 1-ups otherwise, so going out of his way to get it there. I don't think Orsa grabbed one. Orsa kind of goes with the standard first zip setup there. Yeah, Orsa also has 1 life. So both of them are going to be in the same position after they do the wood zip, where they're going to have no lives afterwards, and any death is a game over. Which, again, I think that's a strategic decision on their part, that in a lot of cases, the game over is just what you want, rather than death. But that's a decision every tournament runner is going to have to make, and I think different people are going to choose to do it differently.
And there's the walker, but we're going to say no to the walker. Just zip through the wall. Wiggle for all you're worth.
So you know what I haven't seen? I haven't seen anybody fail a 1-tile wiggle. Everybody that's gone for a 1-tile wiggle has not over-zipped it, so That's a really important thing in these tournament races. If you're not confident in your one tile wiggle, you have a lot of worry in a lot of these zips, because if you zip too far in some of these zips, if you don't turn before you reach the end of the screen, in this case it's a soft lock. In some other cases, you have to kill yourself. So those little safety wiggles they're doing in the ceiling is kind of a big deal. So Fatso misses the last zip, decides not to try to set it up again, just walks the last quarter. So Orsa picks up a little bit of time there at the end of Quickman stage.
And we're on the Metal Man.
Oh!
Ooh,
Well, that's an interesting death. So this changes things. Now Orsa's going to actually have to... Oh, he's going to take the game over. Interesting. I would think he would be faster to grab the item 1 in this first screen, but I'm not 100% sure if maybe Orsa just wanted to have an extra life after the wood zip. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting, because you can see on Fatso's screen there's a 1-up, but Fatso takes the lead. That's definitely a death that you see sometimes. It's not super common, but with that 3-item 1 setup they do on the first screen, you want to jump really late off that first conveyor, and it's easy to walk off of it.
No, I don't think that was intentional. I just think things happened, as they sometimes do.
Okay, so we have a close race still. Both runners have taken 1 death. Fatso about one boss quarter and half of a boss fight ahead. Not even half a boss fight. Oof! Quick boomerangs flying every which way right there. That looked like the spray and pray method. Just fire shots in both directions from the middle. It looked like the Gemini Buster fight from Mega Man 3.
Or you just want it to be over with already.
Yeah. Yeah, so the benefit of the second death there for Orsa is that he does have an extra life now in case anything goes wrong in the Wily stages, or in case he takes a death in the second half of Bubble. But again, there's some places where the extra life is not that helpful, so we'll see how it all plays out. Oh, good point. He probably should. He sort of should have. If he was gonna kill himself, he should have switched to heat. So Fatso's had a little bit of trouble flashing the dogs here with getting this mini zip. So we'll see if he can get it. See if third time's the charm. There we go. So that's it. Orsa hit it in the first match, and Fatso hit it here. We'll see if Orsa can get it. No, I don't think that's going to be enough. So he's probably going to switch to item 1 and zip over the third dog again, like in match 2. Strats, man. Look at this.
Who cares about dogs?
Yeah, don't mash the dog. Just go right over him. Alright, Fatso makes that jump cleanly this time. Didn't have to have a heart attack. And Fatso nearing the end of the zip here. Looks good. And he's good.
He's good. He's that one man.
No, he released his heat charge before he took the death. We actually didn't talk about that. So Orsa falls in the zip. He does have an extra life though, so he can do this, set up the zip again. So this is a scenario where having an extra life is greatly beneficial. Because if he didn't have it, he'd have to play the second half of Woodman again. Or not again, but like Fatso did in match 1. And it's very costly. Oh no. I don't think this works.
Oh no.
So now he does have to play the second half of Wood. This is a pretty rough. This is a pretty rough set of circumstances for Orsa here. So at this point, Fatso is going to have a pretty comfortable lead. Orsa's got to be a little careful. If you haven't done the second half, you can actually take a ton of damage here. And he's getting hit by a lot of these monkeys, so he's got to be a little careful, because he is on his last life now.
And if it gains over again, that's
yeah, that's beginning wooden. Nice, Fatso. That was a beautiful bubble setup. I'm pretty sure I saw him go for that in one of the earlier matches, but I don't think he placed the item 1 high enough. I think that was the... I couldn't tell if that was the lower or the higher pixel there, but that's a pretty cool zip setup to go for. That's something that like nobody does except for Zoda's the only other one I've seen do it. Okay, so Orsa gets to the wood fight with more than 8 health. So he can take a hit. It looks like he's going to try to play it safe and go for two rounds of heat charges instead. That way he doesn't have to worry about getting up in Woodman's face. I think it's riskier to fight him that way, to be honest, but... Orsa was obviously very comfortable with that fight, didn't even take any damage. Alright, so Fatso is through 8 robots. Other than the air death, it was a pretty solid 8.
And we're on to the Wily stages once more.
Yeah, if you think that the Wily stages can't cause someone to come back from down an entire stage, then you've not seen a Rockman 2 race before. But obviously, Orsa is definitely at this point hoping for Fatso to make some mistakes because he's not going to catch up on his own. This is a pretty big deficit. All Orsa can do is just try to prevent himself from making any further mistakes, play the stages like he knows he can do, and just hope for the best. You can't force your opponent to play worse.
I mean, you can will them to, but, you know...
Yeah, as Sinister points out, like if Fatso touches the dragon, for instance, that's a game over. It sends him all the way back to the beginning of Wily 1. That's an entire stage mistake. So those type of mistakes exist in multiple stages in this game.
Please do not kiss the dragon, unless that's what you're into.
Wow, getting a lot of pushback from the chat. Easy, guys, easy. Orsa gets the 1 double pattern. Solid fight, and Fatso about to face the dragon. So as you can see, like, Orsa is very shortly going to be getting into the start of Wily 1. And a Fatso death would take him to the beginning of Wily 1. We don't like to root for people to die around here. But, you know, closer race is always more fun to watch. Oh, Fatso too clutch. Just stares the dragon straight in the face and doesn't hug him.
No dragon kisses tonight. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
For those not familiar with ColonelFatso, he's performed in some very high-profile races, and has clutched out some pretty strong performances. So, I think if he feels confident, he definitely has a right to. But yeah, overconfidence in Rockman 2, I would tend to agree with that. You can never feel too comfortable in this game. Again, Orsa nails the first zip setup in Wily 1. I think he's nailed that all 3 times. He's had very clean Wily 1s. The exception, I think the first match, the second zip setup, but he had a really good Wily 1 last time. That one's... ooh!
Yeah, I think he just chose not to risk it.
Yeah, it was kind of an awkward positioning where, like, I think he would have needed to turn right. Otherwise, he could have gotten kicked out to the right based on where he was standing. I couldn't quite tell, but... if you're unsure at all, just grab the ladder. Like, it's not worth falling. Fatso clutches out Wily 2.
And we're on to our And we're on to our aggressive negotiations with the boss of Wily 2.
Yeah, the environment.
The room full of floating things.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the room just resents your existence and wants to attack you. The walls just come after you.
Really. The environment is your worst enemy in this game.
Yeah, it happens, man. I mean, not to me, but to some people. So, let's see, if Orsa goes ahead and picks up, yeah. So, even behind a stage, he is still just going to stick to his guns, pick up the extra item 1. Again, like, I think your mindset, whether he knows that he's behind or not,
oh no. It's not too, oh wait.
Yeah, a game over there, again, that's one of the the beneficial game overs versus just taking a death there. Because if you take a death, then you're short the item 1, now you get your item 2 back. Get your item 1, or you get your item 2 and your item 1 back. Not the worst death in the world, but again, when you're behind, definitely not what you want to see. It actually does take 3 to kill the boss. The last one, when it kills an enemy, goes through. Like, it doesn't disappear into the boss. So if you see him throw 3 blades, that's actually how much HP the bosses have. In normal mode, they do take 2, but they're playing Rockman 2, or basically difficult mode from the US version. So he actually does need 3. 2 jump again. That was actually, I think, 8 hits on the second jump or something ridiculous. Because I didn't think he was going to get the 2 jump after the first one, but I may have been misreading his health. 2 out of 3 2 jumps for ColonelFatso. Not too bad.
Just mashing for all he's worth.
Yeah, being able to double mash the B button while holding A is a skill that not a lot of people have. So now, if you see 2 blades go flying by, that means they actually did fire an extra shot. But if they shoot the correct number of shots, you will see 1 go like that. So, Fatso with this item 3 climb. Looks really solid so far. Yep. So 2 out of 3, he wasn't able to get this vertical zip, but he knows where the false floor is. Avoided it the last time, and he's good. Oof. That was actually a really solid room there for Fatso. That's... Most Rockman 2 runners are not a fan of the ladders in that screen, but he takes them really quick. Fatso gonna take the bonk there, save his item 1.
It would take a very late death on a stage to give Orsa room to recover.
Yeah, I think a Boo Beam failure and game over probably puts Orsa in the lead, or at least very close.
Because I do believe Wily 4 is the worst stage to game over on.
Okay, so he sets it up.
Yep,
B triggers the last sip, not taking anything to chance, and he's gonna 1-tile wiggle his way in. Beautiful 1-tile wiggles from Fatso all day. And nails it. Goldilocks that one. He was too short on the first one. Yeah. Too long on the... Oh no, we shot the wrong way!
Well, that could be costly.
That looks a little high. But he does have enough bombs. It leaves him with no bombs for Wily 5 again. But he has shown in match 1 that that was not a hindrance for him. So that's one real big obstacle out of the way.
And we're just going into Wily 5. Orsa just still a stage behind.
Yeah, and when that stage is Wily 4 versus that stage being Wily 3, it makes a world of difference. Yeah, so again, we're going to see Fatso be very careful with managing his health here. He just wants to make sure he doesn't die to Wily Machine. We saw his strat on Wily Machine last time. He used Heat in Phase 1. Match down with Metal in Phase 2 only took 1 hit. So he's got to be feeling pretty confident in his backup strat here, knowing that he knows how to take out the machine without Crash Bombs. But you can also see that he's taking precaution to just grab health everywhere. He knows the position. He knows he's ahead. Orsa with a bit of an imperfect Wily 4 climb, but at this point, definitely just needs to make sure he stays alive. He has to help Fatso help himself. If Fatso takes a game over somewhere, he needs to at least try to be in a position to take advantage of it. And Airman's stomping Fatso. Airman's not been too kind to Fatso in the refights.
Airman has not been kind in general.
Yeah, that's true, huh? Airman caused a death in all 3 races so far. Orsa has a little bit of trouble there. He does have extra item 1. Resets the screen, tries again. That setup looks good.
Gets hit.
And he is in the boss fight. Fatso, meanwhile, breezing through the easier part of the refights here in the second half. Once you equip Metal Blade, you're most of your tough fights are over. Orsa misses high, same pixel that Fatso did. And so we should see
a spare bomb for Wily, but
yep. So
blast for Wily Machine.
Yep. Fatso does a good job again of avoiding damage in the first phase.
And just damage race this phase.
Yep. So Fatso clears another major hurdle. And all he's got left is Wily 6.
Where, as long as he doesn't, you know, hug the alien like 3 times in a row, he'll be fine.
So, I would say if he had a life, this is where he does have a danger of losing. Like, if you do most of the fight and then die at the end, you don't have enough bubble to kill him the second time, or potentially. And then you actually have to game over on purpose to get your bubble back. And that would be enough to get Orsa back in it. But because a death would cause a game over, I think, he should be pretty safe even against 1 death. But yeah.
But the chat is rooting for the alien.
Man, that's cold. I don't understand why that bubble goes through. Hitboxes, man. How do they work? So Fatso was a little more cautious there. And GG, that's actually a PB. No.
It is, actually.
Is it? Yeah.
According to the bot.
Well, his splits are red, so maybe he PB'd and didn't submit it or something.
According to this, it's a time of 29:19, which is improvement of 32 seconds.
Yeah, that'll be an SRL, like, race PB for sure. His actual PB on the leaderboards is 29:26. But this is faster than that, but his splits are red, so... Yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah, his real PB, okay.
28:52.
Gotcha. Well, congrats on the fake PB for ColonelFatso. Either way, race PB is definitely something to be proud of. Winning 2 out of 3, taking a matchup between 2 runners that are very, very close in skill. Good job to ColonelFatso. So Orsa going to try to close this one out. He has 1 Crash Bomb. So we'll see what he decides to do here. This is going to be something that you're going to see a lot of people use some different strats for. So he opts for Crash on Phase 1 and Metal on Phase 2. Which, that looked pretty solid. Can't fault that.
Mm-hmm.
And Orsa going to try to close this out in Wily 6.
Mega Man just leaving his helmet behind.
Yeah, I don't really get this ending. Again, I'm not super caught up on the lore of Rockman 2.
Who knows? Mega Man puts down his helmet and decides to never fight again.
Yeah.
For like the 30
How did
times.
that work out for him? Alright, Orsa sets up the zip, gets in just fine, and his turn to dance with the alien.
Let me tell you the lore.
Alright, Orsa takes care of the alien, and he finishes. So that was a great best of 3 set. I was really happy that I was here for that.
It went down to the last race.
Yep.
And Orso finishes with a time of 31:43.
So to give an idea of where we stand in the brackets, actually I'm going to pull that up real quick.
Please do.
Alright, so in Group A, you have Orsa and Fatso as the 2 and the 3 seed. Fatso's going to advance to face the winner of Cool Kid and Metallic Hedgehog. That is most likely going to be Cool Kid. If Metallic Hedgehog is able to pull that one off, then I will definitely apologize. But we're gonna assume that that Fatso will be going on to face Cool Kid. Orsa will probably be taking on Metallic Hedgehog. Then what happens is these groups are double elimination. There's a very good chance that we'll see these two playing again after their next matches. There's at least a strong possibility of that, with the winner actually advancing into the elimination round. So this is kind of a preview possibly of things to come. And so the fact that this went 3 games, the fact that the first 2 in particular had multiple lead changes, and races coming down to the very last hit of the run, should be, I don't know, should be pretty fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you for joining us, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hope you enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure to commentate with you, sir.
Same here. Thank you, and to everyone in chat, thank you for joining us as well for this set. Please give our runners a GG one more time, and we will see you later.